You're listening to or watching the QC Step Podcast, a podcast to give you the information and the skills that you need to find a job, keep that job, and become a valuable employee. My name is Corey Finneran, and welcome to the 21st episode of the QC Step Podcast. This is the last episode before the career fair at the iWireless Center. So on this episode, I'll be reviewing some of what we went over in the last 4 or 5 episodes in preparation for this career fair. But before we do that, let's take a look at this week's job leads. These job leads are posted every Monday morning at qcstep.com, and this week there are links to the online applications for every single job lead. At South Park Mall, both Dillard's and Old Navy have job openings for sales associates. Red Robin in Davenport is looking for line cooks. And then there's 3 job leads for our graduates. John Deere Parts is looking for warehouse workers. Lowe's and Moline is looking for customer service associates, and Amtrak is looking for track workers, and there's different positions that fall underneath that. So if any of these job leads interest you, again, the link to the online application is at qcstep.com, and then at the bottom of this blog post, there will be a contact form, and if you have any questions or if you want any assistance from Gary Maiden or Carrie Stewart, just fill that out and they will contact you. Over the last month here on the podcast, I've been talking about some things with you that you can do to give yourself a more productive experience at a job fair or a career fair. Here in a second, we're going to look back over all that stuff. But first, I want to let you know that in the hour before the career fair there on March 4th, there's time set aside for you to practice these things on staff from QC Step and teachers from other schools. So, before you walk in the door, be prepared. Bring a folder that has a sample application filled out, a practice application, a resume if you have one, and make sure that you bring a pen because it's possible that an employer will have you fill out an application there. Okay, so let's go back and review. On episode number 17, I talked with you about what you should wear to a job fair. You should dress for a job fair like you would for a job interview. Guys, wear dress shirts with a collar, a polo shirt or a sweater, khakis or black pants, black dress pants. Girls, an appropriate dress or dress pants and a nice top. On that episode, I talked about how I was going to do a video for the website where we would show you how to put together an outfit for an interview or a job fair at a Goodwill or Salvation Army, and try to show you how inexpensive an outfit can be at a thrift shop. I have filmed the video, but I haven't put it together yet. I haven't edited it. And so I won't have it done for this particular job fair, but I will have it done in the next few weeks. So it'll be done for the job fair that's at Blackhawk College. And it's not just for a career fair or a job fair. I mean, this is going to be something that you can use anytime that you have a job interview. On episode number 18, I talked with you about how to start a conversation with an employer at a job fair. You can't get information from an employer or talk with them about your experiences if you don't start the conversation. So saying something like, "Hi, my name is Corey Finneran. I am a junior at whatever high school, and I would like to know what types of positions you have with your business." Something like that just gets the conversation going. And if starting a conversation is going to be tough for you, practice on people. You can practice on your teachers, practice on fellow students, your family, your friends, and whoever else. And then you could get to the job fair on March 4th, and you'll have the opportunity to practice on people that you don't know and people from QC Step, and like I said, teachers from other schools. On episode number 19, I talked with you about how to sell yourself at a job fair to an employer. And this is the kind of the meat of the conversation. Talk about your experiences. If you've never worked a real job before, talk about the training work that you've done through the STEP program. If you have good attendance or good grades at school, bring those things up. If you've worked a job before, or you're currently working a job and looking for a new job, talk about the responsibilities that you have with that job right now, or that you've had in the past. Talk about any added responsibilities that the employer gave you. If you got a promotion, bring that up. If you had great attendance at work, talk about that. Selling yourself is difficult for people, especially high school students, but you have to brag about yourself a little bit. Again, go back and watch or listen to episode number 19 for more on how to sell yourself to an employer at a job fair. On last week's episode, episode number 20, I talked with you about how to end a conversation with an employer at a job fair. When you feel that you've gotten all the information that you need and you've sold yourself, make sure that you get the employer's business card or their contact information. Find out what the next step is. Do you need to fill out a paper application? Do you need to fill out an online application? Then, offer your hand for a handshake, use their name, and thank them for their time and for speaking with you. Again, go back to episode number 20 for more on how to end a conversation with an employer at a job fair. I mentioned that there is an hour-long session before the career fair on March 4th at the iWireless Center. We have reserved that time to meet with you and practice these things that I've been talking about on the podcast. You will have the opportunity to practice starting a conversation. You'll have the opportunity to practice selling yourself, and you'll have the opportunity to practice ending a conversation. We're going to evaluate you and give you feedback on all these aspects. We'll meet with you after the career fair. We'll meet with you in your school individually and just talk about what we think your strengths and weaknesses were in that practice stuff that you do with Gary Maiden, Carrie Stewart, Don Carney will be there, Cindy Fike, and myself, and we'll give you feedback on how you do. So, if you have any questions, contact your STEP teacher or myself or other QC STEP staff by filling out the contact form at the bottom of this blog post. If there's something that you think, we haven't really, I haven't touched on in the podcast, or if there's a question that you have that I didn't answer, or your situation is a little bit different, if you just want some extra information, you can fill that out on this blog post, or just, come up and talk to us at the career fair. And teachers, the evaluation sheet that we're going to be using is linked on this post too. You can look it over and download it and do that if you'd like, and give you an idea of kind of how to prepare your students for that. Well, that does it for this week's episode. Over the last month, I hope that I've helped you prepare not just for this career fair or any other job fair, but really any interaction that you might have with a potential employer, even if it's just picking up applications. And again, don't forget that the Black Hawk College job fair is on Wednesday, March 27th. There's a lot of employers at this job fair that are looking to fill summer positions, so it's a real good one. As I've been saying, look for the other QC Step staff to return with the QCStep.com tips of the week, hopefully starting again next episode. And that video on putting together interview outfits on a budget at Goodwill or Salvation Army or any other thrift shop will be up here in the next few weeks. Thank you for listening. I'll see some of you at the job fair at the iWireless Center, and we'll be back next week with another episode of the QC Step Podcast.